I want another cat so bad.
We are literally debating about that being our Christmas gift, like
Getting another
cat. I'm just worried, like price wise, it's not the best time because of the wedding.
Mm-hmm.
And then it is like, I don't want more damage. And then also like, it doesn't really smell like cat. You know what I mean? Like we don't have that issue. And I'm like afraid that with 2, it might.
And also like, is there not a part of you that like you love Ringo so much that you think like it's not fair to him to her to get another cat?
That Josh says that all the time.
Yeah.
Josh says I'll never love one more than Ringo. And I was like, you will though, but like
you will, but like I have that thought often of like I want another cat, and then in the same breath I look at Maurice and I'm like, but it's not fair to you, my little firstborn.
Yeah. Oh, we go through that, but then we're also like we feel guilty that we don't have another one.
I know.
Because Ringo is so playful.
Yeah.
That like I think, and now's the time, like they say under 2 is when you should get another kitten.
She knows that we're talking about her though.
Yeah. I wonder if she'll get bigger.
Not growing a ton, eh?
She's like really like stubby. Is that the word?
Like short?
When you're short? Yeah.
When you're short.
I don't know. Is that the word? Stubby? Stubby toes? Is that what it is? Stubby legs?
Stubby toes, I think.
Okay,
or like fingers. Like if you don't have long fingers,
look like toes.
Like stubby. Yeah.
Okay.
I don't know.
Interesting.
Anyway,
okay,
so
we'll start.
Enough about stubbies.
Welcome, everyone, to another episode of Sangria with Sienna, where we talk about everything and anything, including men, disaster dates, that sort of stories, just general catch up while we sip on sangria. And this edition...
Cheers.
Cheers. I'll take a sip. This edition is obviously holiday themed because this episode should be coming out around then. I apologize for not filming another episode before this. We were very much very busy. And as a lot of you guys know, we are planning a wedding too. So my first episode, I think it was August, right? In the summer?
No, it was way
before that.
It was like May, I think.
Yeah, I thought it was springtime.
Oh man. So yeah, it's been a while. We were originally going to do 1 a month. We're looking at 2 a year at this point, but maybe we'll pick it up. So I have Katrina back with me from the first episode. So if you haven't watched that, I would suggest going back to watch it. It was hilarious. Lots of disaster date stories from Katrina's personal life. Really, we just talked about like personal stories that entire episode. This episode is going to be a little bit of the same. And a little bit different. We have a user submitted story. And then we also have some holiday edition, like Reddit stories that we're going to read and kind of react to as well. So let's get it started. I know Katrina has a few small updates since the last time we chatted. So
yeah. So I think the last time I was here, I had mentioned the story of the guy who messaged me on Tinder about like have a busy day, like would love to chat later kind of thing.
Yes.
So we dated for a hot second. And then a little bit into our dating, found out he had a surprise.
Right. Wait, did we not tell this story the first time?
No.
Oh my God.
No, I had just started talking to him.
Okay, you need to do a better lead up to that.
Okay.
Like, don't tell them the third, like give the whole thing.
Well, we had gone on a date.
Yeah.
And I should, I have a history of ignoring red flags. So he showed up to a date wearing a Timbits fanny pack.
I actually kind of like that
though. And sweatpants. So,
okay, sweatpants. Yeah.
But anyways, conversation was really good, flowed really well. I ended up going back to his place. Nothing happened. Just hung out, like drank some beers, whatever. So we started hanging out a fair amount and I was really enjoying spending time with him. He was very sweet in a lot of ways, very caring, thoughtful, just a comfortable person to be around. So we started dating officially. And I think we had been dating like at least a month. So all said and done, this is probably like over a 2-month period of time.
And he had met your family, right?
He had met my family. He had met some of my friends. So different than Man Who Hates Cats, who had no interest in meeting any friends or family.
Yeah, like these are green flags.
Yeah. And then...
oh, wait, I need to interject because when Katrina, I want to tell this part. When Katrina originally started seeing this man, like she was texting me about him, obviously. And she kind of said like all of this, like he's really sweet, he's really kind. But there is like a red flag. And I was like, oh, okay. And she's like, my mom knows about the red flag though. And like after meeting him, she's like, she understands why we can look past it.
Yeah.
But Katrina was like, I'm not ready to tell you what the red flag is. Cause like, I get it. You didn't want like, if this was going to be a long-term lasting relationship, you don't want to tell people those things,
like
you know, before you meet him to like judge. Yeah. So I get it. But I was like,
did I tell you what it was?
You did. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
But eventually, but I just want to say like, I was like, okay.
Yeah. It's a pretty major red flag.
Yeah.
My mom is still convinced to this day that, I don't want to totally out him, but he had an injury that caused him to be off work. So to make money, he essentially was a pimp.
Which I mean, like, you know what? Anybody in that service, like you do, you make that money. Listen.
Yeah. And all of these women, like we had numerous lengthy discussions about it because like to me at first it's like red flag central.
Yeah.
But like he was not like actively recruiting people or anything. Like it was, I don't think there's a way of making it sound not so bad. But having met him and talked to him, like I was willing to look past that. It wasn't something he was still involved in or things like that. So my mom knew about it because my mom knows everything. And after meeting him too, she agreed. She's like, yeah, I can look past that. Like he's a very sweet guy. He treats me really well. So about like, I guess a month probably into dating, I received a text from him one day that was like, we really got to like talk about something. And I was like, oh God.
Yeah. He's still a pimp.
Is there more to the story? Yeah. So no, he was not still actively in that business, but he had a 13-year-old son that he neglected to tell me about.
Which is wild.
So I knew he had a foster daughter, which is like a family relation, a cousin or something, her daughter, and he was basically respite for the family. So I knew about her. But yeah, he dropped that he had a 13-year-old son on me. And like, it took me some time to like wrap my head around that. And then it's like, okay, like we were still hanging out and stuff, but it was a big conversation about like, how am I supposed to trust you when like it's a huge part of your life that you've just left out. Yeah. And I didn't know how to feel about that. So we did eventually end things.
Yeah.
So.
And I just like that situation, like I understand people, if you're on first dates with people and stuff, like why would you disclose that information when like maybe you don't know where it's going past this? Even second date, third date, whatever. You want to like make sure and like that, you know, this is going to go somewhere. And I even would understand if he like had told you about it early on, but you hadn't met the son yet because you again want to make sure you don't want to bring all these random people into your kids' lives until it's serious, but to not tell you at all, but then keep wanting to go somewhere with it, like because did he not say he loved you? Which is early, but there's no timeline for that. So I mean, but like
I really felt in the time that I did too, and I do think I did. It was just
it was first, like not first love, but first love,
first experience of dating someone who actually like treated me kindly.
Yeah, but I will say like when Josh and I first said we loved each other, like. Well, I feel like we're more in love now because you really know someone. So I feel like you guys were for sure probably in that initial stages
like heading that direction. Yeah.
But you got to tell someone that, like it's someone you see a future with, which I'm assuming you did because he was meeting your family and things like that. Like you gotta come clean with that a little bit earlier than
and
he
maybe
did.
Like not over text.
Yeah, that's like a more
the thing is too, like I was spending a lot of time at his house too, so like there was plenty of opportunity to have this conversation face to face, and he waited until I had left his house and then texted me.
So you can see like there's a little bit, and to be honest, he doesn't seem like a bad guy, right?
No.
He's made some obviously poor decisions.
He's made some poor choices. And like, after I broke up with him too, like he had said some stuff over text that was sort of like, okay.
Yeah. Like I think just a little immaturity. Like he's not confident enough or whatever to be able to have those conversations in person. Yeah. It's like that shows. And you're right. Like what else could he be? Not that he probably isn't, but what else could he be hiding?
It's the potential, right? It was the like trust aspect. And I have seen him since on Tinder and Bumble, and he does have on his profile now that he has a kid. Son.
Hey, so this really sucks, but at least like, you're a lesson for him, which is like not fair to you, but
well, I don't know.
People grow.
I chalk it up to a positive experience.
Oh yeah. Like I still think,
I don't think looking back that it would have like lasted long term anyways, regardless of that.
Well, it was hard too because like, and not to say people in relationships, one person can't drive, whatever. It's not that big of a deal.
I forgot about
but
that.
But it is hard. It is hard when you're the one having to do all the driving and you're not in the same immediate area.
It was 45 minutes.
Yeah. So that's tough on someone to do all of that. Like it's like different. My brother and his girlfriend right now, like she doesn't drive and Luke doesn't love driving, but he does it. And before they live together now, but before it was like hard, but like still like she would like train, like she would pay for the train to come down. Like she would put the effort in to like get to not always be like, hey, or she'd ask like her brother or friend, like meet me halfway, like to like be like that. So, but
I forgot about that whole part of it. Yeah.
Cause that's tough.
Yeah. Very difficult. It was exhausting.
I need you to, tell the fact of like when you were like waking up in the morning and seeing his neighbor and like saying like good morning.
Okay. So the town he lived like in town, so his backyard butted up against somebody else's backyard. And so like one of the first times I stayed over, I'm hungover, I'm haggard as shit and like looking a mess, and I'm out on his porch having a smoke. And his backyard neighbor comes out and gives me a big old wave and like, oh, hey, how are you? And I was like, hey, blah, blah. So it wasn't until like a couple weeks of like seeing this man that I kind of joked to him. And I was like, oh, so like, what's your neighbor got to say? And he's like, my neighbor. I was like, yeah, the neighbor in the back. He's like, oh, that's my dad.
When Katrina first told me this, I died. I was like, oh so no. Funny. Like
your dad is seeing me leave your house in the morning, hungover, like looking like shit. Yeah. Oh my God.
Like you've never officially met this man and it's just like, morning. And he's never mentioned like, hey, just a heads up. Like, cause obviously he knows you're going outside. Yeah. Like, just a heads up, my dad was there. Like,
no, I didn't get that heads up. That was so embarrassing. It took me a little while to go back over after that.
Oh my God. I like that still makes me laugh to this day. Cause that's so funny.
I get myself into the strangest positions.
Yeah, like really, I don't know how this, like just random things like that keep happening to you. I'm like, God damn. I love it. I love it.
Well, so random things as well. And I know I got a story to get to, which I'm really excited about. But so I think I talked about one of them the last episode, and I don't remember what his like pseudonym was, but we'll just say Boy A for today. High school fling.
Yes.
So I had gone to, long story short, Boy A and I, we stopped hanging out, stopped hooking up, whatever. I had been seeing somebody else and hooking up, having fun. So then Boy A had reached out to me again and wanted to hang out, and I was going to meet him at a bar, and he wasn't responding to my messages. So I was like, well, I'm drunk and I'm ready to have some fun. So I messaged Boy B, who proceeded to come up from the back of the bar with Boy A, only for me to find out they've been best friends since they were kids.
Which is wild. And like, I forget if we talked about this, but they had to have known that they were both talking to you, right? Or did they not?
They say that they didn't know until that night.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's wild.
Yeah. Talk about embarrassing. Oh my gosh. I think I handled it okay.
Yeah.
Probably the drinks helped in that moment.
Yeah. Yeah. Just like laugh it off, make a joke of it.
Yeah. And they both have reached out to me since then, like wanting to hang out. So
that's the life of a small town, honestly. Everybody's
sleeping
connected.
with best friends, not knowing that.
Any other, I'm trying to think if there's any other updates.
So I have one like off camera for you. Just not good.
Okay.
But yeah, no, I've really taken a hard pause on a lot of things.
Well, that's good. Sometimes you need a break from that.
Yeah. Like at this point, like I had my fun. That chapter I think is closed now. Like I'm more looking for somebody, like an actual like partnership of someone that like enriches my life and doesn't like make it more stressful or confusing. So
no, that's true.
Been very challenging to find at best.
Yeah. No, fair enough.
Yeah.
We are fortunately coming into our marriage, Josh and I now.
That's what freaks
Which
me
is
out.
also stressful. It's also stressful. Don't because I remember like growing up and stuff, you know, you always be like, I want to be married by 26 and start having kids by 30 years old. It's like, there's literally no timeline. Like none at all. Like if I would have felt rushed to get married, I would have not ended up with the right person and stuff. So I think like there's no pressure to be.
I think that's the thing with me. Like, so it might not seem like it given the previous story I just told, but I'm not here for bullshit at all. Like, you need to enrich my life in some kind of way.
Yeah.
And I will get very bored or frustrated very easily. Like, if there's not some kind of like, sounds bad, but benefit that I'm getting.
No,
like,
it absolutely
you need to
should
add
be making
something
your
to my life,
better.
not just like make me stressed out and confused and frustrated.
No.
So
it should be instantly making your life better. And yeah, like maybe you're a little more anxious or stressed, like in the initial stages, because you're still like those like
it's all still new.
emotions.
Yeah.
It's like, oh my goodness, like what do I say? What do I do? Like kind of thing. But yeah, it'll be good.
Yeah.
Exciting. Also for listeners, Katrina's going to be one of my bridesmaids in my wedding. So that'll be
so
exciting. Yeah. It'll be great.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think if I have any stories, just like update listeners on I think I like our last episode, we really tackled all of my like, pre-Josh kind of relationships and stuff. So I don't really have, and like, obviously nothing's been happening much since then, but trying to think like wedding wise, I don't know if listeners want to hear this, but like wedding updates, we have booked our venue. We've got our date. We have our photographer. I've booked our hair and makeup.
Which was a stressful event.
Yeah. So for anyone who's never planned a wedding, and I mean, I'm sure people have planned very low key non-stressful weddings, and good for you. I wish. But I have a lot of family and stuff. So it's a large wedding, and we're going to be spending a lot of money. And
well, I don't think it matters how big or small anymore. Like, they're just expensive.
And so we were looking, I like initially was like, okay, we've got our date, we've got our venue. And even when we were looking for a date in our venue, the places were like, oof, like you're pretty late, like looking for a spot. And at that point it was like, I guess 13 months, just over a year from when we wanted our wedding date to be. We were like, oh, okay. And so then we got our date, fine, whatever. And then everybody was telling me, you need to get your hair and makeup like now.
Yeah.
Like, and then
hair, makeup, photographer
too. So we were looking at that sort of stuff. And yeah, like a lot of people were like, oh, I'm booked. And even with our photographer, she's great. The one we went was awesome. And we were looking between her and another guy that we had found through, because we originally had asked one other guy and we liked his style. Actually, Emily is going to go with him. I don't know if I can say Emily's full name. So Emily's photographer, he's booked for us. Yeah. And she actually moved her wedding date to get him.
She did.
Yeah. So
fully moved their date.
Yeah. And he did say like, is there any other dates like could we work with it kind of? And I was like, oh my gosh, like I wish, but we can't. Like,
because you had already had the venue at that point too, right?
And we couldn't, like, there was not many dates like open for them. So we were like, no. So anyways, the one we were going with, she's lovely. But we were kind of between her and another guy, and they both had like their perks, but it was like, I had such decision fatigue just with work and from like everyday decisions and stuff like life that I like I just did not want to make another decision. And I was like so stressful that like, even when I would get home from work and I would be like, you know, let's relax, let's watch something, it would always be in the back of my head that I'd have to make this decision. And one day I was like to Josh, I was like, on the count of like 3, 2, 1, like name the photographer that you want to go with. And because both of us were like, there's pros and cons, they're both great, whatever. And so we did 3, 2, 1. We both said a different name.
Oh no.
That was not helpful. But we did end up picking, and she'll be great and it's going to be awesome. And then hair and makeup too. I really wanted this, makeup artist, and she had done a lot in our area, but she had like taken a break, I guess, and then was coming back in October. So like I was just waiting to see if I could get her, and she had really reasonable prices. Cause I mean, some other places I'm looking, and it's like, for me, it's like $245.
Oh yeah.
Not including
Emily
a trial.
had told me somebody was like $300 for bridal makeup.
Yes.
And it was like $200 for bridesmaids.
Yeah.
And you needed like a minimum number of bridesmaids to
make it worth it. Yeah. And that was what I was finding a lot. The one place was $540 for the bride. I was like, I wish, but also
what makes $500 makeup look better than $200? Like, I don't
know. Like, I'm sure like makeup prices are expensive. They have to use different like, tools on different people. So I understand, but like, I don't understand that amount of
that's
stuff.
a big discrepancy.
Yeah. So anyways, we got her, she's going to be lovely, and like a decent price for bridesmaids too. And then hair, same thing. They're so expensive. And I like, honestly, with makeup, I had been recommended her and I knew like my cousin used her and all that stuff. So I was like confident. With hair, I didn't really have any personal, which was making it harder. And then actually my friend was recently in a wedding and then she was like, oh, this is the girl who like did our hair. And like, this is what I paid as a bridesmaid. And like, it was, I think pretty reasonable for the bride. And it was like really good. And she actually got the hairstyle done that I was thinking of doing for the wedding.
Okay, yeah.
So I reached out to her and she was free. And so like it worked out. Like I got really good prices and really great people for that. So I'm excited. And then right now we're trying to get an officiant and or a DJ. But same thing with DJ. It's like, how do you know? Like, who do you go with?
You know, not to go with the one that Hallie went with.
Yes, that's very true. Yeah. He like took over the wedding.
He very much took over.
Yeah.
Bradley was doing a lot of mediating that night.
Yes, it was.
He was very pushy.
Yeah. Like he was like, oh, we're going to play this or we're going to do this now. And Bradley's like, no, like this is what
then he interrupted the bride and groom at dinner when Bradley had already given him an answer to his question.
And Bradley had to actually go find us during photos because the DJ was going to be like doing something that was like completely not. And I mean, Bradley felt so bad for like interrupting doing that, but it was like not his fault. It's the DJ's fault. So
he just took over.
Yeah. So anyways, we'll find that DJ, but yeah, that's kind of, I don't want to bore people with too many details, but weddings are fun too. I said yes to a dress, which I was recently on an episode of Josh's podcast. I'm sure I told them I said yes to a dress. And then, I guess, I don't know if we have time for this. You can cut it afterwards, Josh, but, I kind of want to tell the story about the wedding in Portugal. So I don't
think I've actually heard much about this. Cause like, life is so busy that trying to like actually organize any of us to all be able to get together is so a nightmare. Hard to chat. So
obviously Portugal was amazing. It was definitely like a wedding trip. Like, and Josh and I knew that going in, like it wasn't like us going around to do a bunch of things. Like we were able to travel a little bit, but we were in Lisbon for most of it. Which gets old, like it's a city, but it was still a lot of fun. I saw a lot of people I hadn't seen in a long time and we were constantly like going out. Like, I mean, it was a party trip. Like we were out till like 2-3 in the morning. Like
there's a lot of university friends too. Yeah. So that tends to happen when you get together with university friends.
It was a lot of fun. And I was the MC and I was like super excited about it. And the, one of our friends from university, he was the officiant.
Oh, nice.
So it was super cute. And we were actually staying in the same Airbnb. There was like 8 of us kind of in this area. And
so that got sorted out.
Yeah. So that was chaotic. There was some chaotic, not to do with the bride. Love her. She's amazing. She's also in my bridal party. But just like with like some planning aspects, things were a little bit wonky.
Yeah.
Anyways, so the official, like we were like, you know, practicing with each other the night before the wedding. Like Josh was pretending to be like the groom and like I was like
and the bride. It was very confusing.
And like the officiant, he was like practicing his lines and then Josh would like say it after and stuff. So it was cute. And then I was like coming up with like last minute little jokes that I wanted to add in and stuff. So I was super excited. So the venue for them, it was gorgeous. It was in like this like fort, like castle on the beach. But they changed the wedding coordinator on the bride like a day or two before. Or no, they changed it like I think a week or two before, but then the coordinator didn't get in touch with them until like a day before. And so like stressful, but I mean, in different countries, you do things differently. Yeah, it's not it's like more casual, I guess, whatever. So, but I was getting there like 30 minutes before the wedding just to make sure everything's good. Cause like I'm the MC, I had to like basically bring people in from cocktails to like go to the ceremony. There was like a champagne toast before. I wanted to had to let people know, like, don't sit in the front seats. There were like reserved for like past loved ones or people who couldn't be there. Just little tidbits. And then after the ceremony, like we would, like when we moved to dinner, like I was the one announcing the bridal part or like, well, it was like the best man and woman and then them coming in and I was like, yeah, it'll be good. So we get there, like Josh obviously came with, like we're coming from the same space. We're not going to take like 2, like we took bolts there and stuff like the train and stuff, but it was like, oh my God, it was like 47 degrees the whole time we were there. And the like Bolt or whatever, like dropped us off like a block away because he couldn't get in that area. And we had just walking from there to there, like we were like full body sweating, like all in our outfits. And so like the officiant obviously came and then like some of the, like the people we were with. And so we get there and then obviously I can see who the coordinator is. So I like go up and I have anxiety. So but I'm like, it's weird because it's not like social anxiety and stuff, but like situations like that, like do give me anxiety, but like I will obviously push past it.
God forbid if she had to park while she was there.
Yeah,
Josh.
Absolutely not. I would not be there.
Sorry, I can't come to your wedding. I gotta park.
I can't find parking. So anyways, I went in and I was talking to her and she said, hey, like I'm the MC, like blah, blah, blah. And she's like, why are you guys here? And I was like, oh, like I'm the MC. This is the officiant because we went up to talk to her. We're just here. Like we were asked to come in just like a little bit. We're not even there that much earlier.
Yeah.
Like it's like at that point, like maybe 20 minutes or 30 minutes before. And she's like, oh, we just like came to like make sure everything's good and to talk to you. Like we have to like get the mic, like make sure we have a mic ready, like all this stuff, blah, blah, blah. She's like, okay, like blah, blah, blah. Everyone else, so like the few people that came with us, like go into this other area for like cocktail hour or whatever. And so they like go. And then the invitation said like come at, what time was the ceremony? 5, right? Yeah. So come at 4, ceremony at 5, which is like pretty normal for a wedding. Like you have like a little time beforehand. And so she's still like running around like she was nice, but like moving flowers and we were kind of like helping her and stuff. And then other people started arriving because it was getting close to 4.
Right.
And she was like, why are these people here? And I'm like, well, they like were told to come at 4. And she's like, well, like this is too early. Like they're going to see the, like when the bride comes in and stuff. I'm like, it's fine. Like we'll just send them. Cause what originally was supposed to happen, they were supposed to have cocktails like the front reception area. But it's like an open, obviously castle like thing.
Yeah.
So then we were just sending people to like the other bar area where the cocktail stuff is, and which was working out fine. But like then I had to be the one standing there kind of directing people that way, which again, fine. So like the bride got there and like the people and they were getting ready in like a turret, like over here. And I was kind of like running back and forth, like dropping shoes off. Cause like people would come in with just things for her and I'd run around, which again, whatever. And then I'm like, okay, they wanted to do like a champagne, like not them come out, but like a champagne for the guests, like just before the ceremony, like 30 minutes before or so. So I went to talk to the coordinator. I was like, hey, when are we going to do this? Like, blah, blah, blah. And she's like, oh, like, we'll just do it right. Like as people are walking in the ceremony. I was like, that doesn't really make sense. Like, unless people are going to have their glasses there, like, or you're expecting them to like fully chug their champagne, which I mean, some of us obviously can do, but some of us don't want to.
Some of us get upset tummies.
So things like that. And then I was saying like, okay, so I have to tell people, you know, like don't sit in the front row. And she's like, people just know to do that. You don't have to announce that. People just know. Like, well, like they want me to announce it. And I
wouldn't necessarily, like me attending a wedding, I wouldn't go and sit front row.
Yes.
However, I don't know if I would know that that was the purpose of those.
Well, exactly. Yeah. And like maybe some of their close family would sit there. So I was like, okay, well, like and I have jokes. Like, like I want to tell these jokes, like a kind of thing. And anyway, so it gets to the point where like it's a little bit stressful, but I don't want like the bride and groom to be stressed.
Yeah.
Like everything's going well. It's really not that big of a deal in the grand scheme of things. It's only stressful for me because like it's happening to me and like anxiety. But like at one point I'm like going to the church to like give something. And like Josh is like, they're living their best lives, like having cocktails. They're out on like I don't know what it's called. I should know, just studying history and stuff, but like the outside like area. And it's like this beautiful castle. I'm like walking by, like Josh looks at me. He's like, you good? I'm like, no. And then I'm like coming back. And anyways, it worked out because really literally what I did was like, I was like, we're doing the champagne now.
Yeah.
I was like, okay, guys, like grab a champagne glass kind of thing. And then when
take charge.
Yeah. And when it came time to go into the ceremony, I was literally like, oh, like she had started to like, and I was like, okay, everyone, like I just kind of like stepped ahead and I just like went for it and I did it and it was fine. It was good. I got some laughs. So I was happy about that. And then after the ceremony, it was really like, I was just dealing with the DJ because like he had the mic and he was great. Oh my God, I love him. We danced on the dance floor later that night. I was like, you rock. So it was like it was a beautiful, oh my God, absolutely beautiful wedding.
Just the pictures alone. Yeah. Look
like
gorgeous.
They cut their cake outside with like sparkler, like the fireworks, I guess, like mini fireworks going off and we all had sparklers. Like dance floor was bumping. I ate probably 10 of the mini egg, like the pasta di natas or whatever. I probably butchering that. I'm so sorry. But it's like the Portuguese egg tarts. Oh my God, they're so good. And I had like 10 of them and plus all of the other dessert. Like I literally in my speech was like, when I announced like the dessert happening, I was like joking, like you better get there before like I do. And then like I was literally there and I had like 5 desserts, like leaving, and they're like, oh, like random person, like, you are not like kidding. I was like, no, I wasn't.
It was guys, the sarcasm, but boy, did you mean it.
Yeah. And then obviously All Star played and I just danced the night away. So it was super fun.
See, the wedding I was at recently.
Oh,
also,
yeah.
Just side note, the All-Star video.
Okay, Justine, my friend, sorry, I should not say names in case I don't want to be said, but my friend who was there, I was like in it. And
Sienna in it for All-Star?
It might have to be the intro of this episode.
Oh, that's a fantastic idea.
It's actually super embarrassing.
Just a part of it where you shoot.
I literally could run at one point. I'm like shooting.
It was great. Sorry for interrupting.
Yeah. Anyways, sorry.
That has to make it into this at some point.
Oh God.
100%.
Yeah.
Patreon only, maybe.
Yeah.
God.
Paid content.
Yeah. Jeez.
The wedding I was at recently, the dance floor was bumping. But
love it.
Have you ever been to a Jewish wedding?
I have not.
Oh boy, it was a lot of fun. Now, mind
That's
you,
where they
I
get
did
on
catch
the chairs,
COVID.
right?
Yeah.
Oh, I love that.
So they were on the chair. So the way that, and I don't think it's necessarily like because it was a Jewish wedding. I think it's just how Hannah and Noelle had like organized things. But you go into the ballroom after the ceremony, they introduce the bridal party and they all start dancing and bringing everybody onto the dance floor. So before like appetizers, anything like that, like it's a party.
Oh, I love that.
Then that went right into, and I can't remember what it's called. I should remember, but where they're lifting them on the chairs and everyone's in circles and like all this
God, I love
stuff.
that.
And then they'd sit down, they'd do a speech, like one of the courses would be served right back up on the dance floor. Like, so in between each course was like probably 20, 30 minutes of just like hardcore jams, everybody dancing,
That's
drinking.
amazing.
Like, it was so much fun. It
I
was
like
a really
that.
fun
That's
wedding.
like a different, well, maybe it's how
It gets
they do
everybody,
that,
and it gives the opportunity for like maybe the older folks who aren't going to stay very late to still get up and like enjoy the dancing.
yeah.
And
Oh yeah, that's so nice.
it was a lot of fun.
Also, it's called the Hora. I think. I
Mhm.
think that's what it's called.
Yeah, the Hora.
That's awesome.
So much fun.
Wikimaniacs, you don't have to make a grocery list or check it twice, and you won't be in our naughty list because Factor has you covered, which means you're also supporting your boys, and that's nice. We know how busy the holiday season can get, and meal prepping just takes too much time and energy. Plus, we kind of don't want to hear a today I messed up story that grandma got run over by a reindeer going to the grocery store. Now thinking about it, it'll be pretty funny. But with Factor, you can still get flavorful meals to fuel you up on those jam-packed schedules during the holidays. Factor meals are fresh, never frozen, and delivered right to your door. I don't know if Santa's delivering though. Factor has 35 plus chef-crafted meals every week to choose from fa la 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 lawful bowls to ho 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 horchata protein shakes. Trust us, it's the most wonderful meal you can get in less than 2 minutes. So run, Wikimaniacs, run to factormeals.com/wiki50 and use code wiki50 to get 50% off. That's code wiki50 at factormeals.com/wiki50 to get 50% off. Thank you to Factor for supporting the show, and happy holidays, Wikimaniacs.
Okay, this is the segment of the show now that I've decided this is going to be for future episodes. I know that this episode was a little bit less about disaster dates and stuff, but we love listening to that. And it's obviously a very relevant topic for one of us.
Is your ex a pimp?
Yeah. If so, I have a support group for you. But yeah, no. So if people do want to submit stuff to us, like we're more than willing to read it the next time we do this, which I'm not promising the date, but hopefully will be in the future. So I'm going to basically read this out loud. It was submitted to us, and then Katrina and I will talk about it. So it's called Literally the Worst, and it was submitted by Summer. So there's some trigger warning for sexual assault.
Okay.
Just a heads up to listeners and for us. So yeah, I'll read through this first here. So when I tell you I ran to the page to be able to send this in when you asked for horrible Tinder stories, believe me, ladies, I got you.
Oh,
I'm
boy.
so excited,
I'm so
but also
excited.
nervous. Okay. To preface, I was recently divorced. Is it preface or preface?
Preface.
Yeah, I knew as soon as I said that was wrong.
Tomato, tomato. John mispronounces things all the time on the main.
Yeah. To preface, I was recently divorced from a draining marriage where sex was never on the table. I did not get a say in when, where, how, or how often. I was constantly rejected by my husband, so my self-worth was low. During the time of this Tinder date, I was finally feeling confident and starting to not only enjoy, but love sex again. Now,
Oh, sorry. Relatable already.
Yeah,
Not for the same reasons, but relatable. Yeah.
yeah. I mean, that's awful from your husband. Like, you shouldn't be in a relationship where you don't get a say, especially in something like that. Now, I'm not skinny by any stretch of the imagination, but I ain't ugly. This is important for later. Love the confidence.
I love that.
Yes. I was going
relatable.
I was going on dates a lot and using Tinder to fuel my ego, but honestly, it turned my whole perspective on sex and beauty around. Very eye-opening time in my life. That's amazing.
I think we talked about this the last episode of just like, it made a huge difference for me.
Yeah, absolutely. Sometimes you need to get some validation, and then also sometimes you just need a different perspective on what dating is.
Yeah, you start to see yourself differently.
Yeah. I was finally in a good place mentally and ready to start finding something more serious. So I agreed to go on a date with this guy who was not my usual type at all, but he was so sweet. He let me pick the date spots since he was new to the area. I chose a local seafood spot and a drag show. So fun. My best friend is a drag queen, so I needed to be sure my future partner was supportive of LGBTQ.
Yes.
Absolutely. At the seafood restaurant, he kept making comments about how he was fine with my weight. What? Or would say he likes them thick with a pretty face. I was kind of put off, but tried to overlook it. We went to the drag show and he was very confused because he thought I meant drag racing. Oh my God, can you imagine? Imagine if that was you, you're going on a date and you think you're going to go to drag racing and you walk in, I'm assuming, to like a bar or a club.
With drag queens. Oh my God, I love this.
That's so funny.
I want to be friends with Summer.
Yeah. But nonetheless, he got into the show and we had fun with it. Okay, yeah.
All right.
Okay, he gets a point here for that. After the date, we got back to the parking lot of his apartment so he could drop me off at my car. He asked me to come in and I said no, I really needed to go home. He kept pressuring me, and finally I said, okay, just for 1 second to see your new couch. Never pressure someone into doing something. No. If they say no, and then you're pressuring them into saying yes, that's not like a fully consented yes. I know that this is just going somewhere, but I walked in and he immediately pushed me up against the door, shoved his tongue down my throat, and tried to grab between my thighs. I pushed him off and said I was going home, and I did. The next day, he snapped me. Oh my God, this is like modern dating.
Yeah.
Snapped me and said he had fun and wanted to hang out again. Before I even responded, I watched his story and it was a video of a man saying that women needed to stop ruining their bodies for their future husbands by having sex with random people. And his comment on the video said women needed to close their legs and stop being such whores. We'll come back to this.
Yeah, I'm kind of lost for words at the moment.
I ignored his snap to me and replied to the video saying women are allowed to enjoy sex just as much as a man. And he responded with, if you believe sleeping around is cool, that's on you. He literally sexually assaulted her. A woman loses her value by being a whore. I'm not with that. I can only be friends with a woman like that. I'm not judging you, by the way. Okay.
Kind of sounds like you are.
Yeah. I responded by saying a woman is under no obligation to a man she's not exclusive with, and women are allowed to enjoy sex with whoever they want without judgment from anyone. He then responded by saying that doesn't defeat the point that she's devaluing herself by doing so. I said, the F you mean devalue. Sex does not devalue a woman. And he said, yes, it does. That's why women are degraded for having a high body count and men are praised. Ugh. I then told him he could F off with that sexist bullshit and let him know there would be never be another date with me, even prior to this conversation, reminding him that he attempted to devalue me the night prior without consent from me. He then said I should have been grateful that a fit man like him wanted to F a fat... I'm sorry, I'm uncomfortable swearing with some of the words. So
that's fine. I appreciate you censoring it, actually.
He wanted to F a fat B like me anyway. I then blocked him. About 2 weeks later, he made a new account, added me, apologized for being rude and calling me a fat B, then asked me to give him another chance. Obviously, it was an instant block again. I still have the Snapchat screenshots if you ever want to read for yourself. So yeah, that's my terrible Tinder story. But I will say to everyone out there that there are actually good men on Tinder. I met my current boyfriend of 2 years on there, and we are crazily in love, and he's absolutely everything to me. Treats me like a queen and reminds me every day that love is real. Don't give up.
Oh,
I love you.
Okay, so
Summer.
like definite silver lining there.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay.
So first things first, I want to be friends with Summer because that
Yes.
sounds like a wicked time.
Yes.
I love that he thought he was going to like a drag race,
That's
not like a drag
So
race show,
funny.
which is awesome. I also love that idea for a first date. That is
Yeah.
sweet. That is a really interesting way of like weaning
Weaning
people out
I
for
was thinking
like
that.
what you believe in, right?
Yeah. So, I mean, at that point, it was weird that he was saying that he's fine with your weight. Like, if you're not
Yeah, right off
talking
the
about
bat.
it, then like if you brought it up and he said, then that's fine. You're having
Yeah.
a conversation, but it's weird to like bring that up without
Like context
like there
or
was
prompting.
a context.
Yeah.
Yeah. But like she said at that point, things were still kind of fine. And
I hope
good,
he paid
so-
for dinner.
Oh, he better have. The horrible, I think the absolute worst part of this was the sexual assault.
Yeah.
Like that's 100% not okay at all in the least. And I know like, I mean, we touched on this in our last episode that we've both had experiences where
Mhm.
like men feel like
They're entitled.
they're entitled and things like that. And it's just obviously they're not. So I'm very sorry that happened to you.
Can we just like point out too, though, that like how sad it is that like probably any woman that we talk to has an experience like that?
Oh yeah. It's ridiculous.
Like it's very sad.
Yeah. Yeah. And obviously some like more extreme than others, but it's still like, well,
Too
it could
prevalent.
be traumatizing. Yeah, exactly. And I get, and not all men are like that. Like not every man would do that. So I understand how I can understand men who aren't like that when women are saying, you know, it's so proud, like
Yeah.
lots of women get sexual assaulted and they're saying, but I don't. And like, yes, like congratulations. Like, I mean, it's you shouldn't be praised for doing that, but yes. Okay. Thank you.
Yeah.
But it's like
Thank
the
you for
problem.
not
Yeah.
being.
But the
Yeah,
problem
an
is,
armor.
Yeah, that's where I find
Yeah.
that argument. It's like, yeah, it's stupid that you have to preface that because those men should just be like, oh yeah, like I
Yeah,
know
sexual
they don't mean
assault is
me.
wrong.
yeah, exactly. It's like, you know, they're not talking about me.
Yeah.
Exactly.
It's like, and and those men should also be making sure that they're surrounding themselves with people who are also not doing that or are
Exactly.
stopping their friends or who are not engaging in the sort of culture that
The locker room
makes
talk.
that okay.
Yeah.
And that's, I think, especially with this stuff, like that's exactly what that is, locker room talk, where he's saying that it's devaluing a woman if she has a high body count. And like for men, it doesn't matter. Like men can sleep with however many people they want, but if women do, then like they're not a good wife, I guess is the what, and it's what he's saying too.
But I see so many arguments about this online too, and I'm happy that people are talking about it because like it's a catch-20. Like you're damned if you do, damned if you don't.
Yeah.
If you have a high body count, then like you're used up. But as a wife, you should be like really good at sex. So how
Yeah.
are you supposed to be good at sex, but also like not have experienced it?
Yeah, exactly.
Like I don't understand.
No, it's ridiculous. And like, he is such a big hypocrite, obviously, in this story anyways.
Well, for many
because
reasons.
He was wanting to obviously hook up with you and then saying that he would only be with a woman that isn't devalued.
Yeah.
So it doesn't. And then he was saying, well, it's not you I'm judging. And then it's like, okay, so you're picking and choosing? Like, how does
Yeah.
that work? It literally does not make sense for men to be like, we can sleep with whoever we want, but women can't. But it's like, you're sleeping with these women. So
hmm
I like it. I literally don't understand men who have that thought process. Like, and it's different. And I'm not saying like everyone's teach their own. If you are a man in your religion or whatever that you wanted to, or if you wanted to wait to marriage as a man, like you wanted to wait and you would have liked to be with someone who wanted to wait as well, like fine.
Mhm.
Like as long as you're not going around telling other people like you should have waited or I'm not going to be with you. Like you're such a whatever, like
Yeah.
bad words. But
F and B.
yeah, then it's like fine. Like it's just like I don't know. I literally have no words because that's wild.
I know. I'm still trying to kind of formulate thoughts on this.
Yeah.
Especially just like how he was reacting to her, like calling him out on that
I know.
too.
Like it's so aggressive. It's like, yeah, it honestly, men hate women. I honestly think that some
Yeah.
men just hate women and women can't do anything right because they're always going to find something.
Yep.
Yeah.
But they're entitled to them.
Mhm.
And women should just do what they want. Yeah, I feel it turned around, that she met somebody
Yeah.
who's like a good person for her
Yeah.
and obviously shares a lot of the same values and
And
things.
I mean,
but-
I've definitely heard, like, there's quite a few people that I've talked to who have met their significant other on Tinder and or online. And like, absolutely, I think you can for sure find someone like through dating online. It just does suck that unfortunately you will find some of these people. And I feel like it's just easier to go on a date with someone after meeting online with like not knowing, like not having an inkling. Like if you've met them through mutual friends or if you've met them like in person first, you kind of like maybe not a full judgment of character, but like a little bit.
You have something to go off of.
Yeah,
though,
especially if you know
something.
friends or something like that. But so I would say that's the only difference, but you could absolutely find like the love of your life out here online. So
I still just can't get over like the fat comments.
yeah, that's ridiculous. And yet he wanted to, like, what a hypocrite.
Yeah.
Like he was literally like obviously into her, wanted a second date. And then,
well, he probably
immediately-
like went nasty because she rejected him when he attempted to sexually assault her. And then he got butthurt about it and decided to be a dick.
And that's like such a big thing. Like women, like to reject someone, like honestly, it gives me like, it doesn't give me anymore because I'm not being asked, but it it gave me so much anxiety because I like, not
how are they going to react?
How are they going to react? And I was probably more naive because I don't think at the times I was thinking I would be in danger, but it was like, I'm a very empathetic person, and I don't know, guilt or crappiness I felt because I didn't want them to feel bad. I did not want them to feel bad. And I'm saying there's like several times where like, it was taken so well and like, whatever. There were like like, I don't think I was ever like verbally like assaulted. It's whatever.
I think of like, was it Young Dad though, who like wasn't really taking no for an answer?
Young Dad and Knitting Guy.
Oh yes. Yes. The knitter.
Again, two very nice people, but they like, I continually had to let them down, and because I was being super nice about it because I mean I do like, it's not their fault that I'm rejecting. I'm like, you know what I mean?
I think it's probably a majority of the people that I've like had to end things with. Like I can see that they're a fantastic person and there's a lot of things I like about them. It's just not going to work for me.
Exactly. Yeah. And so then
and then it's not fair to kind of keep hanging on to someone like that. Yeah.
Yeah. So like, but so men out there, like take the rejection. First of all, like accept it right away. Like don't say, have in your head, okay, I'm going to keep trying. Now. Yeah. Like, cause then that's not okay. And then also don't be an absolute jerk and like insult people just because your ego's hurt. Like that's ridiculous.
It's hard. Cause like, I think any person can relate to like when your ego gets a bit bruised, it's hard not to like want to kind of hurt someone the way you're hurting.
Yeah.
But I don't know, grown adults, I think, learn to manage that. Yeah. Seemingly, maybe not. I don't know. But like, I think everyone can probably relate to that sentiment. It's hard. It takes a lot of like self-reflection. Yeah. But I think that's something, again, as a generalization, men are kind of lacking is just generally self-reflection.
Yeah, I agree.
Again,
Josh is
not all men, Josh.
Behind the camera.
Sorry, no, I agree with everything you're saying.
Okay, so coming up in this next section, Josh was ever so awesome because we have no idea how to use Reddit.
Well, like I know how to use Reddit lightly.
I don't at all.
Yeah. So because this is a holiday themed episode, I was trying to look for holiday themed stories. So much harder than it sounds.
Yeah. The little bit I tried to search, I was like, I obviously just don't understand how to use Reddit. So I'm glad to hear you struggle too.
It's honestly, Reddit is the worst app for finding anything. So I tried my best to find stories. I would search like holiday or Christmas or Hanukkah or, like anything. And so most of them happen to be Christmas. There's one at the end. If we get to it, it's not actually even really, it's just a holiday trip, so I don't even know if it's about the holidays, but
we can use it.
I did my best. I did my best, so we'll see how they go.
Yeah, that sounds good because we have not talked about anything holiday related, and this is a holiday theme episode, so we will get there. So
I don't think I've ever dated. Well, no, a man who hates cats. He invited me to his family for Thanksgiving, and then we broke up shortly after.
No, that's fair.
But that's the only like really like holiday thing I've had a partner for.
Yeah.
Thanksgiving.
Yeah. I've like Well, I mean, I've had a partner for Christmases and stuff, but it's like not super exciting stories to tell about that. Anything exciting. So, okay. These are actually pretty short too. So should be able to get through them. So, sister-in-law, female 36, uninvited us, male 31, female 39, and female 3, I'm assuming daughter, for Christmas. For over 2 years now, I have a wonderful partner. We are living together and he is an amazing stepdad to my daughter and fully accepts her as his. His parents are really nice people who made my daughter and myself feel very welcome in the family. Since I don't have any other family of my own, this is very important to me. His sister and her husband are also nice and they have a son. My daughter and he get along and play well together. Both parents and sister-in-law's family live in the same small city just minutes away from each other, and we live 1.5 hours away by car. All the family gatherings normally happen at the parents' house with all of us spending the night there. We spent this weekend at my in-laws' house, just the 3 of us, as my partner's sister's family had a bad cold. However, my mother-in-law let us know that her daughter wanted to celebrate Christmas at her house this year. Since she is pregnant with their second child, she neither wants to sleep over at her parents nor host too many people, so she wants us not to come, at least on the day of the main celebration in our country's Christmas Eve, and only invite her and her husband's parents. I think this is quite hurtful. My mother-in-law said she doesn't like the idea, but also doesn't want to say no because that would upset her daughter too much, and asked for us to understand her. My sister-in-law is a nice person, but can get easily offended and has a habit of making everything about her. Am I overreacting and feeling not part of the family because of my own history? Should we just accept this and keep quiet or talk to my sister-in-law about it? Advice and perspective would be appreciated. This is a hard one, actually.
Yeah.
At first, I was like, ooh, they uninvited you? Like, that's not going to be a good story, but
I'd be hurt.
I would be hurt as well. I would also be hurt too, but I don't think you can be super upset about it to the daughter or to the sister-in-law.
It's hard because I can understand sister-in-law's perspective.
Yeah.
Like, you know, second pregnancy and like not wanting to stay over at her parents. Like,
yes.
But
like
I would be hurt.
I agree.
I would be very bothered by that.
I would be hurt as well. But so I'm just reading this here. So she wants us not to come at least on the day of the main celebration and only invite her and her husband's parents. So that does make it sound like maybe they would do another celebration with everyone. And if that's the case, I think that's much better. It sounds like the main celebration in their country is Christmas Eve. So on Christmas Eve, it would be just the sister-in-law, her husband, and their
husband's
kid,
parents.
and then the husband's parents, and then her parents, which I can understand in a sense. Like, I know when people start having kids and it's like gets too wild, especially if you're pregnant and you're tired a lot, to drag your kid around to all these different like family gatherings. When you really just want to be maybe having your own Christmas with your immediate family, but maybe because they want their parents there, because the husband maybe.
I also wonder how many siblings there are. Whether it's just the only them weren't invited.
Well, it sounds like it's just the parents going. So I'd have to think either they're the only sibling on that side, but I'm thinking, what if the sister-in-law's husband has siblings and like maybe they are not also invited? Then I don't like, if that was the case, I would not feel hurt.
Yeah, I think there needs to be more context.
Yeah, exactly. Because if there's other people that normally would go to that and they're not invited, then I would not feel hurt, especially if they were planning on having another celebration, just not on that day. If this was the only celebration, you're the only people uninvited, I think I would have a conversation with them.
I don't know if I'd have a conversation.
Yeah.
I think I'd be hurt, but I don't know. Like, I would have a hard time figuring out how to even broach that topic.
I guess so. I say
especially because they mentioned that she gets easily offended too, right? So like, you'd have to be really careful of how you bring that up and what that conversation's like, because then you risk like way bigger issues.
That's very true. I don't know. That's so hard because, man, because I understand being hurt. I think we're missing some context because I think in some situations it wouldn't be as big of a deal if you think you could bring it up in a way that's like casual conversation, like, hey, just wanted to check in, because it's her mother-in-law telling her. So I think that gives you a way to just be like, just to send them a message or call, like if you're close enough, because it sounds like you guys see each other, just call and say, hey, I just wanted to double check, mom or mother-in-law, whatever, mention to us that this is how you want to do Christmas. Just wanted to make sure that is the plan. Did you guys want to get together afterwards.
Right.
Blah, blah,
Try and make
blah.
alternative.
Yeah. And then see what she says. And her response would hopefully be something like, yeah, like it's just been a lot dragging their kid around maybe to different Christmases. I'm really pregnant and I'm not feeling up to like going places. We do want to see
a big thing.
like our parents on the day, the main celebration, but absolutely like, let's try to do something. Then it's like, you know what I mean? Like it's a little bit different. I think because it's coming not from her firsthand is a little bit harder too.
Yeah. And it sounds like mother-in-law was also not a fan of the idea.
Yeah. That she didn't like it.
That's tough.
Yeah. I don't know. Sorry. Not that they are ever going to listen to this and know what we're talking about, but we don't have much advice or because that's hard.
It really depends on context. I think.
I agree. Okay, let's go for the next one here. Am I the asshole for refusing to adhere to my sister-in-law's Christmas gift list? Interesting.
Okay.
Yeah.
Can I just do a really quick like additive to this just from this title alone? My sister has a history of our family does $100 limit and we draw names. So you are only ever buying for one person and then the kids in the family. So $100 limit. My sister sends her list sometimes and it's like, I want an Apple Watch. I want a Michael Kors purse. I want blah, blah, blah. It's like, I could get you a keychain from Michael Kors for $100. Like, what are you like? You know, our limit is $100. Why are you sending this list? This is ridiculous. Sorry, just that title alone made me think of that.
That is funny. I like that. I have a hard time with gifts because I love giving gifts.
Me too.
And Josh is like, we need to cut back. It's a wedding. And like my mom has even said, I just want mittens, a pair of mittens. That's it. I was like, no, I need to get you more. And Josh's like, Sienna, stop.
Everyone is literally giving you permission to do less.
But I'm like, no, I don't. I want to give gifts.
I get that though. It's like a love language thing. Like I love getting people gifts and like watching them open them. And
exactly.
Like,
and knowing it's something I want.
Yeah.
For Christmas, my 30 female, so she is 30, husband, 30 male, and I are hosting my parents, my brother Chris, 34 male, his wife Amy, 33 female, their two sons, 6 and 4, my sister, 27 male, and her boyfriend Alex, 30 male. The background to all this is that Amy complains about every gift she's given by any of us. Every Christmas, she makes faces and snide remarks about the things she's gifted. For example, last year me and my husband, gifted Amy and Chris a joint present of an expensive coffee maker, which is the same one we had at home that Chris loved when they visited. Amy's only remark, not even a thank you, was, oh, well, this isn't really for me, is it? And then to make a great show of being annoyed that she didn't get a separate gift. A few days ago, Amy included the whole family in a group email with a Christmas list for her and the kids, saying that she would only accept gifts from this list. On her list were expensive perfumes, links to expensive clothing items, and designer handbags. I was livid. My parents were offended as well, but didn't want to say anything to Amy, but I wasn't going to hold back in the face of what I felt was grossly entitled behavior. I replied to Amy's email saying I wouldn't be purchasing anything on that list, and that if she wanted to shop for a Louis Vuitton, did I pronounce that? Okay. Wallet, I was happy to put her in touch with my saleswoman. I also said that if she didn't like what she received for Christmas, she was welcome to just leave it at my house. Chris blew up at me saying Amy was just trying to make everything easier for everyone by giving suggestions. I disagreed and told him I thought Amy was just trying to find a sneaky way to get a few things she normally can't afford for free, which in my opinion is not in the spirit of Christmas, and I think she's being extremely childish. My parents think I shouldn't have said anything, but my sister says I absolutely should have because she wasn't going to be spending hundreds on Amy's Christmas list either. Was I the asshole for not going along with it?
No. That's my immediate response.
I agree with that.
Because I think it's not about, she didn't make that list with the intention of like, I'm making this easier for everybody. So so my family, I was just telling the story. We have like a Facebook chat with all of our family and all of us post like just a list of a few things we want. Cause obviously we're old enough now. Like if you want something and it's in the $100 limit, like you just make a list of a few things. So that is to make it easier on everybody because they're older and like a bit more difficult to buy for. In her situation, it sounds like that is not making it easier for other people. That is exactly like what the writer said. It was wanting to get some fancy things for free.
I agree. And I think it would be different. Like, cause she says she made a Christmas list for her and the kids. I actually do understand parents making for kids because kids with some things the kids actually want, but you get as a parent, and I'm not a parent, but being around kids and like my sister's kids and stuff too, like there's a lot of stuff that comes in that you get duplicates or they don't need it or they're going to just like grow out and stuff. And a lot of people like, it's still such a nice gesture for someone to even buy a gift. So it's like, you accept it either way. Like, I'm not saying you turn them away, but to make a list for the kids to be like, this is the actual stuff that like, we need, or they really want, and try to stick to the list, like saying that, I think is like 100% absolutely.
Well, their interests change so often. Yeah. So like my niece is 10, my one nephew is 7. Oh my gosh, he's 7. And then Homer's obviously only 2.5 months. But, so like my niece who's 10, like her interests, like I can't keep track of her interests. They change so often at that age. Yeah. So like she might've been into like fluffy, sparkly unicorn stuff like a couple years ago. And then like 2 weeks after, she couldn't care less about those things. So
it's true.
Like I do appreciate parents that post lists for kids because it's so hard to know what to get them.
Yeah. So that if that was that fact, I'd be like, yeah, stick to the list.
It's a fact that complain. Amy put her own list in there.
And like you said,
Louis Vuitton.
I think like buying for my sister, like obviously I have ideas for people, but it is obviously so much easier when someone just says, hey, these are the things that I would like, or this is like kind of my Christmas list, like, because it's just easier to do that. And then if you want to make it more special or personal, you buy like a tiny little thing on the side that you think they'll like. Exactly. So like this year, like Josh and I'm like, okay, let's just make a list for our stocking stuffers and then just get the stuff. Like you can add the little things that we might need, but this is stuff we know we need. And so I agree, like making lists is absolutely okay. And like, they're in a family who, and it sounds like they've been together, like with each other, like her husband, like there's whatever, like they know each other clearly, how much people can afford.
Also, I really don't like the comment about the coffee maker.
Yeah, that's so weird. That was such a nice thing, a gift. You don't say like, this isn't for me. You go, oh my, like if I got gifted a coffee maker, I don't drink coffee. Everybody knows I drink coffee. I don't think I could fake that I drink coffee because everybody knows I can't. But I'd say, oh my gosh, this is such like a lovely gift for our home. Like Josh is going to love it when we have guests over. Like it'll be so nice to make coffee. Like I actually would enjoy a really nice coffee maker because it's a good thing to have in your home, I just think like, how much people can afford. Like in general, especially within a family, you know how much people can afford. Like, yes, if you're all like millionaires and you get those gifts all the time for like birthdays and Christmases and anyways, fine. Put that stuff on there. You know what I mean? If you have the money, if they have the money, whatever. Yeah. But when I think any normal or person, when doing a Christmas list, they might put like one expensive thing on there that they're like, oh, maybe everybody could go in on it together. And that would be super nice. And then the rest of the stuff is just like, 30, the random 50, things, 70, like just
things that you don't want to buy yourself or wouldn't buy yourself, but are still like nice to have.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Like you curate your list to the people that are going to be buying the stuff. Like, for example, this year, my mom is bad like me. She tells us not to like spend money on her, but then she will go crazy. Then every year she says, I'm going to do less this year. And every year there's so much under the tree that I'm like she used to do up until this year, like my stocking, Josh's stocking. And like, I'm talking like huge, and it's like contact solution. It's like, there's expensive stuff in there. And then she would have like tons of gifts under the tree. This year, I think she actually is cutting back, thankfully. But she basically told Josh and I, here's the monetary amount that I'm going to spend on each couple. She's like, you can split it however you want. Like, I was like, okay, I'll do it all for me. No,
I'll take 100% of that, please.
But she's like, split it however you want. Like, give me a few ideas and then like, we'll go from there. And I think that's a good way to do it too. And it would have been a solution to this as well. But she's absolutely... out of touch.
It's a little outrageous to like make a comment like that. And like, I think they wrote something about how like she then made like a show of how like annoyed she was with it. And it sounds like there's a history of her doing this.
Yeah, I think like, honestly, I don't think she's necessarily malicious, like doing it.
No,
to, like,
I think she's socially...
She literally just selfish, like just doesn't understand. Like, she's just like entitled.
Yeah.
And so I think it's a good thing to say something to that because maybe her behavior will change.
I do. What do they call it on Reddit? What's the poster?
OP.
I think OP in this story.
Original poster is what it stands for.
So I think her response was really good. And I think it's totally fair with an outrageous list like that.
Yeah.
To say like, like, thanks for the suggestions. You're not going to get a single thing from me on that list. So,
And I think it would also be different too. Like, say she put a few expensive things and then other things on it. Fine.
Yes.
Or she put things like, oh, these are things I really want. But then she didn't say, I'm only accepting these.
yeah, that adds a different flavor.
Thing. I think that is the biggest problem with that, saying I will not accept anything else.
Yeah.
That is the biggest thing.
Then you can accept no gift.
Then you don't get a gift. Yeah, exactly. So
see, like, as like I joked with my sister, she'd put like Michael Kors purse and like Apple Watch and all this stuff. And then it'd be like, I don't know, compression socks. She's a nurse. So like compression socks and something else. And it's like, when you pulled her name, it's like, all right, you're getting sweatpants and compression socks.
And she would be happy with that.
Because I'm not buying a Michael Kors purse.
Yeah.
I guess, sorry, to finally answer that question though, I would say not the asshole.
Oh yeah, I agree as well. Yeah.
Was that one voted on?
I can double check here for you.
I'm curious if the overall vote was like a not the asshole.
Yeah, Reddit deemed not the asshole.
Yeah, okay.
For sure. She did have a couple edits here if you guys do want.
Ooh, yeah.
So edit 1 for everyone asking, yes, Amy drinks coffee and uses the coffee machine.
Amy's a bitch.
Edit 2, no, she and Chris do not gift anyone anything of the value of the items on her list. Chris does the Christmas shopping, and our family is big into adult gifting. We buy things for our kids, but we tend to get each other things like Christmas hampers for couples, jumpers.
So like practical.
Yeah, it sounds like
cute, like Christmas things.
Yeah.
Exactly. For example, I bought my mom a teapot one year, things like that. Certainly nothing in the price range Amy put on her list.
I love that that's the first edit. That's great.
Yeah, so that was basically it to firm up some questions some people had, but overall most people were saying not the asshole.
Yeah, okay. That's good.
Okay, I do think this is just a holiday one, like a vacation one, but that's fine.
Hey, I'm here for it. It's like cold
a Christmas
today.
Vacation, yeah.
It's a scandalous one. I thought you guys would enjoy it.
Oh, I love it. Okay. I, 28 male, and my ex, 26 female, broke up. I've planned a holiday trip. Her sister, 24 female, wants to go with me. Thoughts?
What?
Although, okay, if Josh and I broke up, which will never happen because he loves me too much. No, I love you too much.
What the hell?
We love it. But if we broke up and he had a trip planned for us and then like to Europe or something, and I obviously 100% didn't want to go, and I wasn't like, I want my ticket to sell or something like that, and my brother like wanted to go with him, I think I would let that happen.
I think that's different.
Okay.
Different context. I
Yeah. It would be like your sister going with Josh.
think.
Even then, I don't know if I'd be super mad about it.
Well, maybe you've got a weird family dynamic. I would be. I don't know if I'd be pissed. I would just be like, what?
It depends how we broke up, I guess. Honestly,
Well,
I'm talking about this hypothetical that like thinking that Josh, like I
Like
love
an
Josh,
amicable,
so I'm not
yeah.
even thinking about. I can't even fathom the like breaking up. So I guess I can't actually really think about it because it'll never make sense.
Scandalous. I'm
Yeah.
confused.
Yeah.
That's a weird, like, that's all I can say is just what?
Weird. It is weird. It is weird. Okay.
So her younger sister is
Yes.
going to go on a trip with her sister's ex-boyfriend.
Yes.
Why does her sister even want to go? Like, and yeah, I want the context of like, why'd you break up?
If you're breaking up with someone and we spent money on a trip and we both paid for it, I would just want my money back.
Yeah.
So there is an actual story attached to this. This is just the title.
Okay, sorry. Yeah. Sorry.
Oh.
Katrina's like, how will we ever know?
I was like, what? Hey, you kind of buried the lead there.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Okay, here we go. I'm going to keep this short. A few weeks ago, I bought a flight and accommodation package for a holiday trip to a country my then girlfriend always wanted to visit. Ooh, let's call her Jen. I intended to surprise her on her birthday, which is in a couple of weeks. I was on my lunch break to get some food at a cafe and I bumped into her sister. We chatted for a bit and she asked me what I was planning to do for Jen's birthday. I told her my plan and immediately her face turned blank. That's when she told me Jen has been cheating on me a couple of times and she could no longer keep it secret. I went to confront Jen after work about it. She denied it at first, but eventually she admitted to doing it a few times during our 2-year relationship. I packed my stuff and left to stay at my uncle's place. A few days later, I texted her sister to thank her for being honest, and she asked if we could talk in person. She and Jen are no longer speaking to each other, so I agreed. We met for a coffee and talked about the situation. She then asked what I was going to do about the trip. I said I was going to cancel it. She then asked if she could go with me instead of canceling. She explained she needs space away from drama as her family is siding against her. Her only condition is to have separate beds. I told her I would think about it. Now I feel like I need a much needed time away and I also want to visit that country. I don't have anyone to go that has time to travel with and I'm not romantically interested in her. Thoughts? I think you can't. I don't think you go with her because either way,
I don't think
it's
so,
like,
but like, yeah, when there's an actual story that goes along with the
makes a lot
title,
more
it
sense.
it helps.
Yeah. Okay. I have several thoughts. Obviously, I mean, good for the sister for telling the truth.
Yeah.
And coming out with it. I do
I'm
think it's
curious
weird
why
of her to want to go.
Yeah, and I'm curious why her family sided with the other sister.
Okay. So this is, maybe people are going to be mad at me about this, but I feel like I have a different take. So obviously cheating is not okay in any sense. Like that is the worst thing to do. You should not be doing that. I don't think you should lose your family over it.
No, but her sister has gotten flack from the family, it sounds like, for telling the boyfriend.
I thought her, like, okay,
That's
maybe
how
you're
I
right.
heard
Because
it.
I read it that, if that's the case, then you're right. Because she read it like she needs space away from her family as her family is siding against her.
Yeah.
Okay.
So it sounds like her family doesn't agree with her telling
her. Okay,
the
that makes more
boyfriend.
sense because
Yeah.
I thought I read it like her sister didn't want have anything to do with her sister because of the cheating. And it's like that.
I get what you were thinking. Yes, I would agree that like, is cheating a good thing to do? No.
Should you lose all your friends and family?
So yeah,
No.
should you then? Yeah.
But okay, I get it. Yeah, if the like Jen is mad at her for telling, like you
I'd
can't
be mad
really.
too.
Yeah, like I would be mad for
That's
telling.
fair.
Like, I mean, it's not
you
right.
shouldn't have
It's not her
cheated,
secret to tell in a sense, but it's also like you shouldn't have cheated. You shouldn't have a secret to tell.
Yeah. And it sounds like it was more than one
time
circumstance.
Yeah. So I understand, but I don't know. Like, yeah, her family shouldn't be mad at her for telling. Absolutely. But I think it would be weird if they went, especially because there's so much drama attached to this. I feel like it would be like if she wants to repair things with her sister. And I'm not saying that she should be the one having to try to fix and repair things. Her sister needs to grow up and say, I made the mistake. It was my fault entirely. I'm sorry. You had every right to tell him. Can we just start over? Let's talk. Like, I'm going to, learn from this and grow. Like, that's what needs to happen. But I think if you did go on the trip with him, you're kind of putting your wedge a little bit in more between your relationship. And I'm not saying
I still think it's weird. I still think it's weird. If she were to go on the trip with him, it's still just odd to me.
Yeah.
If you need time away from your family and the drama and all those things, I get that. You don't then take a trip with your sister's ex-boyfriend.
I was going to say, how is the drama going to get any less?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. They're not going to be less
You need to get
drama.
away, book a hotel, go somewhere, spend a weekend away. You don't need to be going with your sister's ex-boyfriend.
No. And that's like for him saying, I feel like I need a much needed time away and I also want to visit the country. Okay, go.
Yeah.
But then
Take
don't go with her. Because I think you're right. Like it's not going to be less drama. It's going to be more drama. Yeah.
And how would he ever, he's saying that he's not romantically like interested in the sister. But how would you ever convince anyone of that when you just broke up with the sister and now you're going on a trip with that girl's sister?
Yeah. It is weird.
It's going to add fuel to the fire for sure.
I think it's just not a good idea for both parties involved.
Yeah.
And I mean, you guys can do whatever you want, but it's not a good idea for both parties involved. And I will say, like, I kind of misunderstood the story, but if it is like your like her family isn't talking to her because she told him, like that's not okay. Like obviously that's not on her. Her family needs to grow up and repair that relationship. But I just do think it would be a big wedge if she went. Yeah.
A little not off topic, but not to the story, but that's a complicated situation of like being in that position of like knowing that information, seeing this relationship continuing, even though you know that this stuff has been happening.
Yeah.
Like trying to navigate that in general is like difficult.
Yeah.
So like I feel for the sister. The sister's probably thinking like, I wish I'd never known that this was happening.
Yeah. No, that's true. That's a hard one. Yeah.
Reddit be crazy.
So,
did he go on the trip?
Yeah. Do we know?
Any updates?
Yeah. So he wrote an update because everyone pretty much said what you guys said and like, don't go with her. That's just increasing the drama, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so he wrote an update. He said, update. All right, I'm not going to take her. I'll take someone else, basically.
Good.
So he'll probably take a friend or someone else that wants to go.
Well, he just prefaced in this story, though, that like not having someone to like take with him.
Yeah.
So I guess he found somebody pretty quick then. Eh?
Yeah. I guess he was able
was
to
on
get
Tinder.
someone. Yeah.
Swiping.
Who wants a
Free
trip?
trip. Oh, that's funny. Yeah.
Oh.
Okay. I'm glad people agreed with us.
I feel like we've probably been the popular opinion on those stories.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think on all of them, you guys were pretty bang on with what Reddit was saying. So
Wow. Look at us.
Does that make us
Yeah.
good people?
Part of the mob.
Just a follower.
Yeah. Never a leader. We're sheep. Yeah.
You're gonna have to pan in
Yeah,
on
show Ringo.
Oh, looking at the little
Oh,
baby.
just waking up.
Oh,
Oh. Why?
so sweet. It is warm with these lights. Holy cow!
Mhm.
Thanks for having me again.
Yeah, we
Lot of
are
fun.
super happy Katrina came to join us. I'm sure you'll be on future episodes. I will hopefully record more, so expect to see more, but I can't promise any dates. I'm not going to say that. But yeah, thanks for checking in. Hope you guys enjoyed this. It's more of like a sit, chill, listen
Chit-chat.
vibes, chit chat. So definitely different than Reddit on Wiki because it's not like story after story kind of
Yeah.
thing. But
Although I would
hopefully-
love more viewer write-ins because that was fun. That was a good story.
Send more of your stuff for sure. Like the dating stuff, like absolutely would enjoy to read that or anything really. Like
Yeah.
send literally anything in and we'll read it. Well, maybe not anything, but we'll read what we can.
we'll link where you can submit those in the description. And then, I mean, you could use Reddit on Wikis because we do get dating stories as well. We could use those as well for the next time. So,
That sounds good.
but yeah, link to where you can submit down in the description. You can't see me because my camera's off now.
Yeah,
but
he's a ghost. But yeah, so thanks everyone for listening or watching or whatnot. And happy holidays.
Happy holidays.
Enjoy whatever you celebrate and eat lots of food.
Lots of food.